Okay, this is a spinner by Blackstone, and it's used on the bigger systems. It uses an 8-inch disc, 8-inch diameter disc, 1 1/4 bore, 5/16. So this spinner is used on the Blackstone machines. It goes over, kisses this edge, and it defines the radius of hollow. And this one is a regular 3/4 inch radius of hollow. And then there's also a smaller system the Blackstone had for several years. They still support it, but it's called XO1 and XO2, and it's the mini series. So they have a smaller spinner here. They have a smaller spinner and a smaller disc. It's a very small machine. And so this has got a disc that's 4 inches in diameter here. So it's about 100 millimeters, 10 centimeters in diameter, has a 1/2 inch hole, and the thickness, that's pretty thin. What is that? About 5 or 6 millimeters thick. So the Blackstone XO1 and XO2 series uses the mini spinner like this. It's got a ball bearing, and in the unit it goes through and just kisses the edge, defines the radius of hollow. It also can be their system that has a flat bottom V. This particular one here has got a 100/75, and so for the big 8-inch disc it uses the regular spinners. Two different types of spinners. Now, flat bottom V, there's a patent here from 1983 by Redmond, and it goes into a bunch of different profiles here. One of them is like this, where you have the sharp edges and then you have the midpoint for glide. So he patented all this in 1983, all these different types of profile. So you had good gripping edge, and then you had the thin portion for glide. And so the patent ran out on that, so 20 years would be, 17 years would be 2000. If it was 20 years, it'd be 2003, and that's one of the reasons I think the flat bottom V became a craze about 10 or 15 years ago. And then you have all the variants of that. You've got this is actually an advantage disc, but ProSharp has a what they call Z channel that cuts out the center. It has a special type of cutter that will cut on a skate blade the center out. And they have ones that are ground for Z channel, and they actually have a disc for the old Skate Pal. They still support. And then what do you call it? Sparks has got one called Fire, like this, that also has a flat center and has the sharper edges on it. And so there's a Fire disc, different names. They're all slightly different. The flat bottom V, you got the Z channel from ProSharp. They still have for the Skate Pal, and the Skate Pal, actually the ProSharp Home still has a Z channel. But anyways, here I just wanted to show there's a big spinner and a small spinner. Big spinner, diameter is about the same as the 8-inch disc. Small spinner is way smaller, like this. And so the XO1 and XO2 are out, I think about 10 years ago or more, and you still see some on eBay. They still sell the discs. It's a beautiful machine, and it's usually got a really good, it's a tabletop machine, and then the unit goes through and you just kiss the disc over with the spinner. And also Wasoda has a gizmo that I believe will hold the big spinner, and it goes through, and you can go through and use it to kiss the discs on their thing to put a radius of hollow. So there's an attachment for a Wasoda that will use a spinner, I think also the CAG 1 Evolution, I believe, uses the same size spinner. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it uses the same size spinner like that. So all different types of spinners. The adhesive on here, or the grinding material, is the same as like on here, except it's the opposite curvature. This is actually a cutter to cut the blade. This is actually a concave that cuts the bulge out portion to grind skates with. So on a machine that uses a spinner, some of them do also have a diamond cutter as a backup or whatever. But here what you do is you just change the spinners around. Then there's another system by Blade Master that has a big old piece like this they call a roll, and it fits on top of a dresser unit that has its own bearing. And so imagine a dresser like this that goes on. The dressing unit's about, I think, $1,400 or something like that. But it has a big ball bearing on it, and you put this on, and that goes ahead. It's called the dressing roll, and it dresses the edge of this blade. And so they have a system that is dressing the edge of the skate of the sharpening stone, but the ball bearing is not in the consumable. The ball bearing is in the fixture. And so you'd have a roll that you put on that slips on, and so that goes off and touches the system. So there's a whole bunch of different types of systems here. A lot of people think there's just a few different types. Got Sparks, Pro Sharp, Blackstone. Blade Master has a roll system, which I don't happen to have a roll with me right here.